Keep it going for Jameson Cox. Give it up for TJ in the back with a broken shoulder. You saw the crippled man walking around. That's TJ. Co-owner of this place. It's not possible without him. It's pretty fucking incredible that we're doing this at all. How did you fucking people hear about this shit? Us. You spread the word? Thank you so much.
All these people right here.
I appreciate that. You guys should come to the open mic. It's a lot more wild. This is Polish. You want to see the weird stuff? Show up on a Monday.
Seriously.
Yeah. Seriously.
On a Monday.
Absolutely. We're a packed house tonight. Give it up for yourselves who are cramming in here. This is pretty fucking incredible. My notes say to do crowd work, so we're going to do some of that, okay? You have a hallowed look about you. What's the worst thing you've ever seen? The dark? You guys ever contemplate the dark? Just utter darkness. The essence of evil. The absence of anything. Just nothingness. Give it up for nothingness, guys. We live in Iowa. We're in the middle of it. Winter's almost over. Give it up for spring. How about that? Fuck this fucking cold, huh? They gave us one good day, and then it went back to shit. And I'm like, I don't need to keep living. This is ridiculous. I'm over it. Just blackness for me, right? This guy gets it. How about you two? What's up? Cool. You got the wings? What flavor? Buffalo? Classic. Classic. Yeah. Were they good? Good review? Post it on Yelp. I got you, TJ. I got your back. We're gonna do this. Everybody take out your phone. Everybody get your phone out.
Guys.
I'm gonna pose. We're all gonna take a picture. Ready? I'm gonna post it on social media and make sure you tag the station, all right? Here we go. We gotta... Everyone getting it? Yeah. All right. Post it. Social media, Instagram, Twitter. You got one more? You got it. Got the angle. All right. Go Mavericks. How about you guys? Those are small chairs. Do you feel infantilized right now? Do you feel like little children right now? I should have spelled it out. Yeah. Me too. Me too. I've seen the blackness. I've seen the dark look into its eyes. I saw my grandpa pooping one time. Stared into the eyes of a man who burned down a whorehouse in Korea. He called it a whorehouse. I'm just sharing his truth. I wouldn't slut shame a house. Grandpa's a horrible racist. Imagine that. He has the habit of, instead of introducing people by their name, he just introduces them by their ethnicity. And most of the time, he doesn't know. He just guesses. Like one time, he was going to help me out with my car, and he's like, oh, this Mexican guy, you're going to love him. Victor is from Honduras. Which is pretty close. But it makes me think maybe he burned down that whorehouse in Vietnam, and he just had no idea the whole time where he was. I've seen terrible things. Grew up with a brother, twin brother. We can't look each other in the eye anymore. Thank you so much. Twin also?
Yeah, right here.
Oh, really? You're fraternal?
Yeah,
Fraternal, yeah, right? Yeah. You're like, what? How long have we been doing this and you're getting it wrong still? How old are you guys?
We're 24, he's 15 minutes older than I am.
Okay, you're the older sibling. I'm the older sibling as well. Do you feel like in your dynamic you're the older sibling? Oh yeah. Isn't it crazy? 15 minutes.
Be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, you are acting like a child, I'll be honest. Can I be honest? Talking during the set while I'm prompting you to talk, ridiculous. I can't look him in the eye anymore. You know, we used to sit across from the breakfast table at each other. I'd have a bowl of cereal and a glass of milk. I love milk. Still do. That's why I'm like this. He would have a Pop-Tart, brown sugar cinnamon, dry. What a fucking psycho, right? Just... Yeah, every morning. It's amazing I wasn't a school shooter. Look at me. I fit the profile. This long jacket. Now I look more homeless than school shooter, but I'm evolving. I couldn't figure out why he wouldn't drink milk, and then one night I figured it out. We used to live in the same bedroom, and I moved out, so one time I wanted to reconnect. I wanted to see what he was up to, try to talk to my brother, you know? So I go up to his bedroom, I push the door back, and it's dark. Pitch black, the blackness. Yeah, call back. Except for the glow of the television, just a light blue tint casting light on his visage. His silhouette shaking in the dark. As I walked in, I could hear the sounds of our boys dying on the beaches. You see, my brother, you know, I'm calling him my brother. I should change the name to protect the identity of people in this story. But I'm gonna keep changing it just to confuse you. So Benicio was watching Saving Private Ryan. And next to Alexander's TV was a bottle of lotion and a glass of milk. Yeah. Let your imagination run wild as mine did that night. So I said to him, Hagrid, were you jerking off? And Lionel said, no. So I said, what's your name? What was it, James? James. So I said, James. I understand the lotion. Why the milk? And Tim said, that's my name, never mind. I said, Hermione. Why the milk? And what's your name? Sarah. Sarah said, well, you know, the sperm. You see, Tito thought milk was cum. Or that cum was milk, or milk turned into cum, which I guess is kind of right. I'm not a doctor. But from that moment on, I understood why I didn't drink milk at breakfast. Pop-Tarts don't make me horny either. We don't even have time to unpack why he was jerking off to war movies. The joke's not that long. I've seen some crazy stuff. Do some drugs. Anybody else do drugs? You guys do drugs? You're coughing, you do drugs. Yeah. Only weed. See, I had a friend who did harder drugs. He had this habit of crossing his eyes to watch the drugs go in. Yeah. He would try smoking meth out of an LED bulb and he fell over following the spiral. Silly joke. He did the same thing when he tried doing coke with a crazy straw. Tried following it. It's a little too crazy if you ask me. You guys remember parties before COVID? Yeah, kind of miss it, don't we? I remember them, they weren't that great. There's a lot of stuff you did back then that you can't do now. Like I remember this party I was with a group of guys, 5 guys crammed into a kitchen. They called themselves the Beach Toys. They were a Beach Boys cover band. And they would always play with their shirts off. Definitely no mask, so you can't do that anymore. They're all just crammed in the kitchen singing, I wish they all could be Cal. They were pretty good musicians. One of them got ran over by a train, so. It was a weird party. There was a guy, he broke a bottle and cut his finger. He started writing poetry in blood. You couldn't do that before COVID either, but you definitely can't do it now. The weirdest part, there was this woman going around the party and lifting up her dress and farting in people's faces. I don't know if you can get COVID from a fart. But she was pulling her ass apart, so it's technically a super spreader event. It's a silly joke about farts. You in a relationship? You might be, yeah? Yeah. You're a little bit more forthcoming. This guy contemplates the darkness. But like, you both know, like, apparently not. Oh no. Ruining lives here tonight. How long have you been together?
5 years.
Whoa. sit in front. You rounded up. Yeah.
I'll sit on the couch tonight.
You're always rounded up with this guy, aren't you? Yeah. Sorry about that. I was in a relationship for a while. She once asked me, give me a compliment, something besides my looks. Right? Women want compliments besides their looks. So I said, that's easy. You're very supportive. You're a positive person in people's lives. You impact them in positive ways. And I really appreciate that about you. And she said, well, you turn me on too. And I said, okay, name one thing. And she said, who's shallow and inattentive now? Won that one. Won that relationship. I'm 4-4-2. Count the draws. Blood on both sides. Dead tie. My first loss was my mother. She gave away my Sega. Count that as an L. Second loss, I was working at Spencer's, and this old man came in with a grocery bag, reached in and pulled out this giant, juicy dildo and just hit the counter with it. He said, I would like to return this. I got it for my aunt, and she didn't like the speed. I count it as the shortest but most traumatic relationship I've ever been in. Deeply meaningful, big L. My third loss, you might be asking, I was choking a woman. She wanted me to, relax. She grabbed my hand, put it on her throat, and was like, come on, get into it. But I was really nervous. I had never done anything like that before. Anybody else?
Yes, sir.
There's a proud man. There's a guy who knows his grip strength. You rock climbing, bud? Just women. Okay. So I started squeezing her throat. She's like, come on, get into it, think of something. So I started to think about it. And couldn't think of anything. I finally thought of something. So I started to squeeze harder. And she's like, yeah. I'm like, yeah? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, give me back my Sega. And she's like, what? So that was an L. My fourth loss is a joke. It's also partly real, like everything else I've said tonight. So I'm going to tell you this story, this joke, and then we're going to talk about it. Deal? Great. My dick's so big, once touched a woman's IED. Her whole uterus exploded. That should have got a bigger laugh. And here's why we're going to talk about it. Some of you don't know what an IED is. Some of you have been blissfully unaware that for the last 20 years, America has been engaged in the war on terror, illegally invading Middle Eastern countries for oil and profit. The IED was popularized after 2003's invasion of Iraq, shortly after the invasion of Afghanistan. An IED stands for an improvised explosive device. Who here was born 2000 or later? Make some noise.
My kids.
Your kids. Who's the youngest person? Who's 21? Anybody 21, 22, 23? Yeah, some people over there. Your entire lives, America has been at war. You have not known a country that has not been at war. Trillions of dollars and thousands of lives lost. That's part one of the joke. Part two. Some of you don't know what an IUD is. Mostly men. An IUD is an intrauterine device. That makes it so the lady doesn't get pregnant. No claps for that, all right. Interesting crowd. Some of you don't understand what puns are, or how IED is a play on IUD. Part three. Some of you have a small penis. And my big penis makes you uncomfortable. I lost you from the very beginning. Your ego is compensating and getting in the way of the joke. Some of you think comedy is just, haha, you have a small penis, I laugh at you. Not so. We can share and laugh with my big penis and all have a good time. Some of you don't believe I have a big penis. Again, that's your ego, but if I must prove it, look at my hands. Look at my feet. They're size 15. This is what big dick energy looks like. I know you've heard of it. Now you're seeing it. I know it's weird. No one ever expects it. You're welcome. So now I'm going to tell the joke again. Now we know all the parts. We're all going to have a big laugh, right? And you're even going to get the calm response, because now you're all comedy audience veterans, right? Here we go, all right? My dick's so big, I once touched a woman's IED. Her whole uterus exploded. 4 soldiers were wounded in the blast. When will the violence end, you know? Wow, you folks are great. Thank you for being such a great audience. I've been Tim Overton. Thank you.